Last week on Gleeboot, Santana sang Nutbush City Limits, and we're like, why? Sam and Santana had the most boring sing-off of all time. And Finn inexplicably kissed Emma for no reason. And that's what you missed on Gleeboot!
Gleeboot!
Yeah. So Nutbush City Limits, I literally woke up the next day and it was just in my head and I could not get it out of my head literally for like 3 days. And yeah. And then I accidentally, so we skipped a week and I accidentally started watching this week's episode last week. I only got 2 minutes into it and I had already texted Cullen being like, this is crazy. He's like, oh, well, you don't have to finish it till next week. I was like, perfect. I don't think I can do this at 10 a.m. So, yeah.
You tried watching Glee at 10 in the morning?
I was like, I've got a ton of stuff to do. I need to get this out of the way because if I forget, I mean, I'm sure I could fake it till I make it, but, you know, that's not fun.
Oh, you mean what I did, like 2 episodes ago?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I made it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So this week we have a very special guest. The person I think of whenever I see a motorcycle in Los Angeles. And our professor from Boston University, Scott Thompson.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, guys. So is there any explanation needed for the motorcycle comment? Should I highlight that?
You can tell the story.
So we had a class at the end of the program in which I think we weren't getting a lot of work done, but we're sharing a lot of stories. And I let them know that when I was living in Los Angeles, I rode a motorcycle and I was one of those people that shot through the traffic. And now I go there and see them and I'm jealous. But yeah, I did that until I got in an accident and that was the end of it. But I survived it, so that's good. But yeah, and Hannah's mind was blown when I shared that piece of information.
Yeah, it's always fun learning tidbits about your professors, especially when it's like, yeah, I used to ride a motorcycle, no big deal.
I didn't say that last part. And I didn't shake my head.
Scott, I think you are, and I'm not ashamed to say, my 3rd favorite professor.
Oh, damn.
That is the most Alyssa compliment.
Yeah, that is so wrong, especially in a program that only had 3 professors. Okay.
Oh my God, that's true.
Maybe Debbie and me. Okay. Ouch.
Oh my God.
Okay, so is this the end of the show?
I'm assuming other professors from like your undergrad too. She probably doesn't remember them.
Oh my God, this is thinking fast. Did you guys just come on here to roast me?
I'll tell you at the end whether or not I was serious.
Okay, all right. I'll cross my fingers. So this actually may change your mind, right? My performance here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do well.
Secretly a test. You did know, but you did your homework. So
I did do my homework. I'm ready.
Yeah, the tables are turned. We're testing you now.
Okay, I came prepared.
So Scott, what is your journey with the show Glee?
So I have 2 children that are 22 and 20. So when Glee came out, that was a show that they watched quite a bit. So it was kind of like a show that was on in the background. And, you watch the show as it comes in, it's always playing. And then there was like a window of time where I think maybe 6 years or something where, I didn't see it at all. And then when this came up, I binged season 4 and I probably did watch it at 10 a.m. So I watched the whole season 4 and, or at least up to 15.
right.
So I won past this, which was really cool because the next one I think is movies, which would have been fun, but hey, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So when I watched this episode this morning, I literally texted them. I was like, so why did we put Scott on the like all teen sex episode?
Yeah,
like,
right, really. Just so we can test them, see how he handles it.
Yeah, I was like, this episode looks juicy. It looks like it's gonna have a lot of drama.
Yeah.
I wanted to give you a juicy episode.
Scott likes
There's
conflict.
a lot of stuff.
Lots
in
of
this
conflict.
episode.
Oh yeah. Anytime we have like a fellow screenwriter person on, we have to say like we're gonna use lots of like technical terms like character, plot.
Okay.
So just watch out.
I'll do my best. Okay.
Okay, so whoa, you watched all of season 4.
Yeah, that's
Season 4,
dedication.
that's
Okay, shoot me if you want to. Good.
Well, at least you'll know like some of like the
Right.
characters' names who are like really new.
Right.
So that'll be good. That's good.
You know what? I really don't. Maybe I'm going off on a tangent, but I don't understand the guest appearance thing, where they list who's like Emma is still a guest on the show.
she was a series regular, and she slowly they add so many characters that you never know if someone's a guest or a
Oh,
Yeah.
because it's her wedding.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's really weird. Like I'm pretty sure Diana Agron took a while and then like was sidelined as like a guest starring character for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyway.
yeah, very weird.
Yeah. So are you drinking anything?
I am.
What are you drinking?
Well, I have water, but that's just a change. So I had this really good intent. I had good intentions at the beginning. There was a drink that I found that I appropriately named. What was it called? Let's see. Oh, Walk Me Down. So I was like, oh, I'll get that. Be perfect. And it has like a ton of ingredients that I have like 2 of. So I didn't do it. So I have a vodka, seltzer, and cran raspberry is what I.
Oh,
Ooh,
okay.
that sounds good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Pretty basic.
I am honoring our having met in Boston with some Sam Adams
Ooh.
Oktoberfest.
Very cool.
And I'm wearing a sweater, even though I live in Florida.
Just
Are
for,
you gonna be okay?
yeah, no, really.
Yeah, no, my
And it's sweating.
AC's. Oh my god. Yeah, no, my AC's on like nice and
That's what
high.
you can wear a sweater.
Yeah.
I, in the spirit of fall, have made a pumpkin spice Russian.
Awesome.
It's really good. So basically, it's a white Russian, but instead of the milk, you use pumpkin spice creamer.
Ooh.
Ooh,
That
interesting.
sounds
Very
really good, yeah.
Yummy.
I like that.
I am driving right after this, so I'm raw dogging this episode.
Cool.
I'm having I had a sparkling iced peach nectarine.
Oh, nice.
So
It's gone
sugar.
already.
I know. I was really thirsty.
Not even the first 5 minutes.
I do that with the alcoholic
I
drinks
know.
half the time.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
That was alcohol.
Yeah, I've got my whole pack of Sam Adams right here in case I run out. So
It's too bad you can't pass it to him.
yeah, I'd be like,
Great.
"Reach-"
Yeah. So Scott, you took the BuzzFeed quizzes.
Okay.
What character
I'm
are
so
you?
excited.
Which what?
Character.
So let's see here. My character is Mercedes Jones.
Ooh, interesting.
Nice.
It
You
said,
kind of got the best one.
oh, really? So it said you're a diva. You're outspoken and headstrong, but you can also be very sensitive. So I think I just kept saying like things in relation to loyalty, which I don't know, and that's what I got. So I don't think I'm a diva.
I don't know. Your students might have something to say about
Oh,
that.
no. Third best professor and a diva.
Okay, so who's your Glee boyfriend?
Okay. It was Finn.
Okay,
Finn.
he's standard, you know.
Yeah, kind of boring. I wasn't excited when I saw that, but I think it was like casual dressing but it says something about him being loyal and he
Mhm.
kissed Emma, right? He's the best man and he kissed the bride before this episode. So
Yeah.
not really loyal.
In a move that I'm gonna say literally makes no sense. Story-wise, character-wise, it just happened and you're like, why did you do that to us?
There's nothing romantic in that moment. It's literally like he read it in the script and it said kiss Emma. And he just
Yeah.
kissed her. There was nothing in the moment that was romantic. She was kind of freaking out. And he just kissed her.
He did it to shut her up.
I guess. But then it
Oh.
gave us something to start off in the next episode.
Yeah, that's kind of, I mean, Glee does that a lot. They just drop in a pointless drama bit and they're like, oh yes, we're gonna take this and people are gonna care about it.
Right. The
We
cliffhanger
don't.
pinch, right?
Yeah.
Screenwriting jargon.
Some legit jargon too.
The pinch, it pinches it to the next episode.
Yeah.
So I broke it down. We have like the Finchel and Wemma, like the main storyline. And then we have Kurt and Blaine, Artie and Betty, Santana and Quinn, and the Jake, Marley, Ryder, everyone's favorite love triangle.
Yeah. Very invested. I literally could not remember Ryder's name the entire episode. I had to Google it.
Okay, so he's also listed as a guest on the show, and he's been in every episode of season 4.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like literally how much they're paid. Like if you get above a certain pay grade, you're a regular. I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, I know there was drama about that with Sam in season 3, because remember in season 3 they shipped him off to Kentucky. They're like, Sam's no longer here because he wanted to be a regular and the show wouldn't let him be a regular, so they wrote him off and then they wrote him back on.
Like 2
Wow.
episodes later, 3 episodes later.
Yeah,
That's petty.
yeah, and that's why Sam was that's why we don't know where Sam is living right now, because he was living with Finn, and then Finn graduated.
Oh, so he's living in like a box somewhere.
Yeah, we
that's
think
our
he's living
theory.
in the school.
Yeah, my personal theory is
That'd be
he's
awesome.
actually in high school.
He's got everything he needs.
Yeah.
Food,
Yeah, there's
showers.
Yeah.
Food, yep.
I guess.
Power of music.
Yeah, there you
That'd
go.
be great to find out, like in the future. Just have an episode.
I
The
swear
series
there was an
finale.
actual
Yeah.
kid in our high school who they found out was living there.
Really?
Yeah, and he had been living there for like months.
Sometimes I thought JB lived in his place. Oh, he's there.
Oh my
He's
god.
never gonna hear this.
Probably
I
not.
would tell that to him.
Oh. All right.
All right, so let's go into season 4, episode 14. I do. So we open with Finn and Rachel at the Lima Bean. Rachel is once again back in Ohio. She can't stay in New York to save her life. And
Yeah, she was just in Ohio 2 months ago for Christmas.
So
no,
this-
she went on the Rosie O'Donnell cruise.
Oh, that's
Christmas.
right. That's
yeah.
right. When
Yeah.
was? Oh, because
So-
it was because
Thanksgiving?
No,
Yeah.
I think she went home for Greece.
Oh, right.
Of all of the,
really.
of all
So,
of the
Yeah,
stupid
both of
things
her and
to
Kurt.
talk about.
Yeah.
gosh, I keep thinking that, like she's just like always there.
Well, they're all always there.
Yeah, I think like she didn't come back, so she hasn't been back since like September, October probably. So it's been a good few months.
Yeah, because it's Valentine's Day, so it's February.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So she's like, Finn, you don't look well. You look like you slept in those clothes. And Finn is like, I kissed Emma. I don't know why. It just like came over me. And she's like, well, you always wanted to be an actor. Play the part of the best man, the dutiful best man. Don't bring it up. Don't mention it to Will. Just kind of shove it under the rug. And she's like, you probably felt down because you found out I was living with Brody. And he's like, well, not everything's about you. And she's like, okay.
Which is a good point.
Yes, everything is always about
Yeah.
Rachel.
Yeah.
Eva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anyone feel like people are just giving Will seriously bad advice in this episode?
Or Finn? Or
Yes, Finn, not Will.
Well, I mean, what do you do? What is he going to do? Tell him, like, as the best man the day before? I mean, guess don't do it. Just the start, you know?
Well, yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
but if you did,
yeah. Own it.
yeah. Especially
then-
if it's bothering you that much, like.
Right. And then Will could punch him, and then they would have the moment where he's come clean, and then the wedding can.
Then it would be
Yeah.
fine.
And then
like,
it would be even more satisfying for everyone who hates Will that Emma still didn't want to marry him. They're like,
Yeah,
see, it wasn't even him.
That wasn't the reason. Yeah.
yeah. So then Finn tries to like talk to Emma about it, and she's just like, I'm stressed. I'm planning this wedding. I don't need this. I have to stand up there, marry Will, the most wonderful man, and be there with his best man who thought it was appropriate to kiss me.
And she's still doing wedding
Okay.
seating.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
doing everything. That's how far away is it? A week, right? Or less.
Yeah, it's literally like the end of this week of like
Yeah.
when we
If she
start.
doesn't pick centerpieces, which okay,
No.
if she hasn't picked centerpieces, then they're not going to have the money.
That's why she's so stressed, because she waited all that time to do it. But then like freaking Shu comes in. He's like, "How's my nervous little bride doing?" And I
I
went,
hated that
"Oh,
line.
Yeah,
she should divorce you already." It was horrible.
It just freak us out. She did have a good line though. What did she say about that she used to plan her birthday weddings, over plan them, and then by the time her
Yes.
birthday came, she wasn't ready for them, so they never actually happened, which I thought
Yeah.
was funny.
Yeah. So like that's kind of like a good excuse for like, oh, okay, I get why like she just kept planning and planning. But then like he comes in, it's like clearly he's still not helping. Granted,
No,
yes, he was in
oh.
DC, but whatever.
He came in. That was the first moment I think she saw him, and then he said, "I'll come back after I hang out with Glee."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. I love Sue Sylvester's take on him. Anything she says about him is hilarious.
Yeah.
The man child or whatever.
Because
Yeah.
he is, because it's true. That's hilarious.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Will and the kids, he's there with the kids, and he's like, the theme is I do, you're gonna be performing at my wedding. And Tina is like, wait, what? Like she all but says tacky.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
The voice of
They sang, they performed at Finn and Kurt's parents' wedding, which like I guess kind of made sense because they're like, we're literally getting married in a week. We need somebody to do it. And they just booked the Glee Club. And I think they got paid for it or something. I don't know. But like this is just like it's tacky.
Oh yeah, it's all about me, you know.
Yeah. I think Emma would prefer. That's true.
But she's
I
not
think-
going to be there anyway, so it doesn't.
Yeah. But I was just like thinking, I was like, why would Emma even approve that? Just be like, yeah, sure, they can sing a song, not be the only entertainment.
Was this like the one thing that Will had to plan and he ruined
Probably.
it?
I don't
Yeah.
think he cast it by her. I don't think she has
No.
any idea.
No.
Mm-mm.
I was in college asked to a wedding to be a server by like someone in like the Christian group I was in. And a lot of people said no because they were insulted. And I was just like, I'll go. It's
How
a
much is-
wedding.
Wait, they were
Free food?
insulted by being asked to be part of it?
By like
But
not being
server.
invited, but asked to serve.
So you went to the wedding and served, but you didn't go to the reception?
Well, we were busy like cleaning and stuff.
Yeah.
Damn.
Alyssa's like, what?
I think I agree with your other friends who said no.
And did you get paid? Did you get free food? Did you get anything?
We got
Yeah,
free
right.
food, yeah.
Okay.
So did everybody who went to the wedding. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you have to give a gift? Because then it's not free.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't think I got a gift. I think I was like,
No,
the gift
yeah,
was like-
give
You
it.
didn't, and you didn't give them a gift either.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
No, because
Your
they
gift, your gift was your free presents
Yeah.
to serve at their wedding.
Oh,
That's crazy.
Yeah, so then so Will also tells Finn, he's like, I want you to sing your best man speech.
It's so
Weird.
Well, like not
dumb.
actually like write a speech and then sing it.
But sing a
Instead
song.
of giving a speech, sing a
But
song.
okay, here's a question for everyone. If you were a best man at a wedding, what song would you sing to express your feelings about
Wait, if I were Finn?
Yeah.
Like,
Like
I think Finn had a couple of good examples of what he wanted to sing, and one of them was "Lionized" by the Eagles.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then awesome. That could have been the way he revealed it.
Well, that's actually, so I don't know if you ever watched season 1, but that's how he revealed that he got a character pregnant, but he didn't get her pregnant. That's how he revealed it to her parents.
he sang your
He's saying, yeah,
Okay, so
You're
singing at the
having-
wedding's not even weird.
no, it's a Finn thing to do. Yeah. So that's actually very on brand.
But I'm just thinking, like, of all the weddings I've been in, like, I've never really had to express my feelings for the groom in song. Like, what songs exist?
You got a
Friend.
friend.
Yeah, there you go. Classic.
Toy Story. So kind of weird. My nephew's getting married next summer, and my son was asked to sing at it, but like just
Oh.
for the fun of it. So be careful.
Yeah. So then Finn, yeah, he has all these songs that has planned, and Rachel is like, "I'll help you. We'll sing a duet."
So, okay, really quick, going back to when they're in the Glee Club room, there was a really triggering line. Just wanted to point it out. The reason why the Glee Club is so small and only a certain number of people were asked to sing, it's because whoever isn't out with Asian bird flu.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
Jake
Tina.
looks at her, and Tina's like, "It's not me."
Yeah. What was that? So
It
did
just-
that have to do with Blaine being sick in the previous episode and her rubbing vapor rub?
Oh,
Weird.
well,
Just saying.
maybe that was like where the sickness came from, or they're just like, "Hey, we need our at least one racist joke."
There was two. There was another one where Ryder
Oh,
said, and he
yeah.
said, yeah, he said it wasn't, so she doesn't think it was stolen. It's not too expensive.
At least that one was
Yeah.
called out as being racist. This one was just like, yeah, Asian bird flu. Look at the only other Asian person in the group. So it just goes to show that like hating on Asian people has been around for a very long time, especially in media. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It was such an unnecessary tangent. It didn't have anything to do with anything that was going on.
They literally could have said everyone's out with the flu.
Yeah.
They could have looked at Blaine at that point and be like, he would have been like, "It wasn't me. I stayed home." Actually, he went to school though.
Yeah. he
So
did.
yeah, they should look at Blaine. He's the one who was sick.
Right.
They just had to explain why Kitty the terrorist and Joe and Sugar weren't there.
They
Oh,
never
that's
explained that any
right.
other episode. Why'd they have to explain it this time?
Then didn't have enough songs.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to Rachel helping Finn, she comes in, he's like, "You're late," and she's like, "I was getting a spray tan." I was like, of course she gets a spray tan now.
Well, she looks like she gets a spray tan, so
Mm-hmm.
And she somehow turned it into about herself. Like,
Yep.
she's like, "You can just stand in the back and I'll sing the song."
Yeah, she's like, "Here, I'll pick the song, and then you can just sway in the back."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Are you joking or are you serious?"
Yeah, she's serious.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's pretty awkward. But then Finn's like, "We have some dangerous musical chemistry," and she's like, "I can handle myself, but you're looking really cute." And he's like, "I've been dieting because Glee is obsessed with telling us that Finn is fat."
I don't understand why like they have to make it into he lost weight. Why?
Yeah.
He can just be cute. He doesn't have to lose weight in order to be cute.
He was cute when he was a little bit thicker in like earlier seasons too. So like, I don't know. Glee hates fat people.
Glee hates a lot of people.
Yeah. Glee hates everyone.
So then it's time for the wedding. Everyone's getting there, and we'll talk about them, and they're on separate storylines. Brad, the piano guy, is back.
Yeah, I saw that. He like, I don't know why he came back. Maybe he like respected Shu, which I don't understand why. He's the reason why those kids always demanded music numbers from him.
Yeah.
So my wife thinks it's crazy. She works in a school, and she's like, every single song, there's like an entire band that's just so happens to be available during the song. I mean, whatever you need, a drum set, even if they're like in the locker room, they're singing. There's a background, with the entire band.
Oh
She's like,
yeah.
"Oh,
There have been numbers with like full orchestras and like chimes.
yeah."
It's so weird.
No one who writes for Glee has ever been in a high school.
They've never met children or teenagers before. I don't even think they've met adults before. It's crazy.
So I got totally ragged on a little bit more of me watching Glee, binging this season. My daughter came home and we were watching Glee, and she's like, "Oh my God, Dad, you're watching Glee. It's like, there's a reason why.
I'm being forced against my will.
She was ragging on me big time.
Oh my gosh.
And she hates Rachel. She's like, she absolutely hates Rachel. She's like, I can't stand her character. I'm like, I kind of think that's the point. I don't know.
Yeah. There are very few moments where it's just like, oh, wow, Rachel did a thing that was like not horrible. And then there's a lot of times where we're just like, oh my God, just shut up, please.
I think in the beginning they wanted us to like her, and then they realized that nobody did, so they leaned into it.
Everyone loves to hate her.
Ride what you got.
Yeah.
So then Emma is nervous, getting ready she's in her wedding dress, and Sue comes in an exact copy of Emma's wedding dress. The bridesmaids aren't with Emma.
That's what I thought was weird. Like,
Oh, I didn't think of that.
because and it's not like they processed out. So I only
Yeah, they were
remember
all
this.
waiting.
Yeah, because I was just in my dad's wedding and we literally were all waiting down there with the bride.
Yeah.
And then we all processed. So like the flower girl would go first, then the bridesmaids.
Yeah.
It was just, it's very strange.
Well-
and also like the groomsmen go with
Yeah,
the
before.
bridesmaids or before.
Well, that depends on the wedding, because I've been in weddings where we go together, and then other
Yeah.
weddings where the guys go up first because then they're waiting as they come up. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, I guess the argument they could have logically is that Sue came out when the bridesmaids maybe would have come out, and that ended the whole thing. Because the flower girl came out, and then Sue, like they had the equivalent to like the record scratch, the organ,
Yeah.
and then Sue's there for this wonderful bridezilla moment or whatever.
Weren't the
And so,
bridesmaids already on the altar though?
oh
Yeah,
right, they were.
Because
Yes.
who was it? Santana? She was like, it's like a redhead convention or something.
Yeah.
A carrot top convention.
Because
yeah.
Emma's parents are
More
a
hate,
spicier version of white supremacists. They're ginger supremacists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they did not make an appearance to say something racist and ginger. What did you call it? Ginger centric.
Yeah.
I now have no questions about why Emma never got a birthday party and why she had to try and plan her own.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Not do
Her
a good job.
parents were just very not into her.
So Sue comes in and is like, Emma's like, why are you doing this? And she's like, to get back at Will for letting a flabby 19-year-old run a classroom. Also, because he's a weirdo man-child who gets his joy out of singing in front of teenagers, and whose best friend also 19.
That was the best.
Oh my God.
She literally like his greatest joy in life is singing with children, and his best friend 19, and then she's just like eating at the same time.
Yes.
And Emma's just freaking out.
I love Sue. She's awesome. Just her dialogue on the page is just awesome. Just everything she says.
Yeah.
Fun to
Like
listen.
this is, like we said before, like everything that's directed at Shu, all that hate from her, we're like, yes, we're all about that.
Yeah.
And also like she's spitting some mad truth. Like this man does not have any adult friends. Like Emma should be worried.
She does it about everything. Everything she says is the truth about what we're kind of thinking.
Yeah.
It makes her oddly lovable.
Yeah, she's kind of had this transformation in I want to say season 4. She's become like a voice box for the audience.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know. She also had the transphobic rant that she went
you're right.
on.
Against Grease thing.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
she
you're right.
was talking about Marley's how
Yeah.
dare her.
Okay, she's not perfect.
Yeah.
She's far from it. Maybe
Yeah.
this episode will say she speaks the truth.
Yeah, this
for
episode
sure.
she
Yeah.
was in her prime.
Um,
So what is the song that Emma starts singing? Emma and Will being super
about her
close
not-
on the screen.
Isn't that
Yeah.
I thought written for her? That was just her babbling on. Was that a song?
yeah,
I
it's
think
from
That's
the
a real
musical.
song.
I was gonna say that's from a musical, but I don't know what one.
It's a Stephen Sondheim musical. It's Company. It's called I'm Not
Okay.
Getting Married Today. They changed it to have Will and Emma's names. I don't remember the
Right.
names of the characters.
Maybe
in the
that's why I
musical.
And then
Yeah.
meanwhile, like you said, Hannah, Sue's just like eating a cream puff, like totally unfazed. As she's having
Yeah.
a complete meltdown, she's just like enjoying it basically.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And then
Yeah.
like while he's like singing like very dramatically, kind of almost like operatic at times. And then like while this is happening, like Emma's having a meltdown. She's literally like running out of the church. But like he's also like superimposed over the screen, like that sequence in Grease at the very beginning when they're
yes.
singing. And I hated that. I was like, oh, this is so cheesy. I get what you're going for, but I also hate it. Stop.
Yeah. They should
Oh,
be taken out of the church. That's right.
Did
yeah.
anyone else think that the camera work in this episode was kind of weird?
Yes.
Well, they had the sets that were combined. I don't know if I'm getting ahead, but when they were going from different hotels, it was like Rachel was in the same room, like they
So
compressed the
weird.
sets. So we're moving around from each hotel room, but in many cases, it's the same exact room, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
they kind of walked across each other's sets, which was
Just
weird.
like
and confused.
even like simpler cuts, like
Yeah.
you have cuts that are really fast and don't really make sense. Like, why did you put a cut there? I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's
It
the
was
same director and everything, right? Same. Yeah, it's the creator and so it's the same people, not like a new director. Sometimes they have a new director come in. I don't think that's the
Sure.
case.
I didn't like
I don't
the
know
director. I just thought it was
It was
weird.
it was the two executive producers, Felchuk, is it?
Brad
Mhm.
Falchuk.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Ian what's his
Ian Brennan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was those
Okay, so they're the one who directed it. Interesting. That'll be noted. Like a running tab of what everyone directs.
two. Yeah.
So she sings Getting Married Today. Emma runs out of the church and finds a taxi in rural Ohio and gets in.
Okay, Lima's not necessarily rural, but it would be weird that she could hail a taxi.
Without
don't
calling one too. It just was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I don't even think like it would be hard to do that even here in Tampa. Like, so that was weird. But like when she gets in, she lets her like dress hang out the door, which I thought was an interesting touch. Like she's
dramatic.
freaking out so much that like she can't hold anything together.
Yeah.
And so then we get Becky goes down the aisle as the flower girl. Will doesn't react, so I assume Becky always was the flower girl.
I asked myself that too. I was like, is this just Sue telling her you have to go out, or was there like a ginger child who was supposed to have replaced her?
Oh, that's funny. She was an angry flower girl. She's like,
Yeah.
She's like,
She did not care about those petals at all.
no.
I think she threw some into
At
like the
Rachel.
pews.
Okay.
Yeah, Rachel.
Rachel was like, what the heck?
and then Sue comes down in the wedding dress, and everyone turns and looks and is like shocked. And she just.
But
kinda
she
looks,
looks
"Hey."
great in that dress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's better than Emma.
I agree. She's got a snatched waist.
But she's also just got confidence. I love her swagger.
Yeah, that's true. Because I think when we saw Emma in the dress, she was like kind of like hunched and stuff. But yeah, Sue owns it.
She definitely does.
So she walks down the aisle, and Willow's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Trying to save this from being an utter fiasco."
He's not even that shocked that she's there either. In a wedding dress, he's just like, "All right, what are you doing here?"
I think it might be that he's kind of like bracing himself for what the hell's going on.
After you've lived in the
Oh,
Gleeverse.
Wait, I want to say one of my favorite moments in this episode, because I love the character Brittany and how like off she is with everything. I forget what episode it was where she had voiceover of herself.
Yes.
But there's a moment when Sue was, and she's a Cheerio, and so Sue's going down the aisle, and she takes a picture of Sue, and she goes, "You look great. You look so great." It's like she's so like, hello, wrong person. She doesn't care. She's like, it was so awesome. It was so like bizarro.
That was the exact same point that I was like, oh, Jane Lynch is really rocking this dress. And then Brittany's like, you look so good. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Such a precious moment.
Mm-hmm.
So Brittany,
Yes. And so Sue gets up and she's trying to save this from being a fiasco. Emma has left the building.
Yeah.
And so I think, going from my notes, it cuts ahead to Will and Finn are sitting on the altar, and Will is all like, "This is my fault. I wasn't helping her plan the wedding."
Which is
And-
correct.
which I think actually is the reason, but Finn thinks it's because he kissed Emma.
Right. Yeah.
And so Finn feels really guilty.
We needed some internal
And-
conflict.
Yes, and he's trying to
Well-
weed it out. He's like, did she say anything? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to figure out if it was his
Yeah.
issue, like,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, was like, she didn't have to. I know what I did. And then Santana comes in and she's like, I've been selected because I'm the most emotionally numb. Do you still want to have the reception? Emma's parents paid for it and they don't really like you, so they seem kind of happy.
Yeah.
anyway."
That was a great comment. They don't really care. They seem to be happy with what that went down. Yeah, that was really funny.
And so he's like, yeah, go party. I'm gonna go try and find Emma or think about it. And then so then we get the reception. Most of the reception is the other storylines, but we have Sue throwing the bouquet. I think Finn and Rachel dance together at the wedding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
she throws the bouquet and Rachel goes out with all the single ladies. And
she's not like in the group.
Yeah, she does in the
behind
back.
everyone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost like indifferent, and it just
Yeah.
happened.
Cullen
It's like
said
if
single
you've ever been to a
ladies.
wedding with a garter toss and you're just like, I don't know what this wedding couple is gonna do, but this is an awkward tradition. I don't want to catch this garter. I'm gonna be in the back. That's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, but can I
Yeah.
say that, like, what's really weird about everything after the church is that the whole ceremony is like exactly how it would be if there were a bride and groom. It's like the worst thing that could happen, and yet everyone just parties and is totally fine with the fact that the bride and groom aren't even there because the bride took off.
Yeah. I
Weird.
feel like if that happened in my family, there'd be way more gossip.
Oh my god!
But
That'd
I
be
think they would
really
take
loud.
advantage of the party.
Free
Yeah,
drinks.
you can
open
still
bar.
party,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
maybe not do.
They'd
the
all be
duet that you would
speculating.
do with
I think
the
Jake-
best man, like,
Yeah, I think Jake says in the first scene, he's like, romance is in the air. And it's like,
Mm.
really? That we just went to like a wedding that crashed and romance
Yeah.
is in the air. I know it's Valentine's Day. You know, that was interesting.
yeah, the idea that they mashed up Valentine's Day and all of these couples with this broken wedding was a little strange to me. It
Yeah.
felt
Totally agree.
like not they had all very separate goals.
Yeah.
It's not one specific thing.
It was very, in a way, it was sort of realistic, and that they're all kind of selfish teenagers.
Yeah.
And
Okay, there you go.
that like they're like, yeah, we'll go celebrate our teacher's wedding, but they don't really care that much that he's heartbroken. They're just like,
Yeah.
let's go party.
I wouldn't care about Will. No one has found Emma.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that's the thing.
Yeah. Now the whole thing is bizarre, and it just goes on like, okay, they didn't cut the cake, or they didn't have the things about that would involve the bride and groom, but everything else was like,
Now that's funny.
they still
It-
threw the flowers.
I kind of wish that Emma had also, or that Sue had also cut the cake and done
Yeah.
like all of the bride and groom things
That
by
might be
herself.
yeah.
That would have been good. That would have been a
Or
good
like shoving
choice.
cake up her nose.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Or if she had also been after that, she would have been like, all right, it's time for the garter toss.
Yeah.
And everyone just clears.
Yeah. That's sweet.
But yeah, the bouquet toss. So she catches this bouquet somehow. And then she's like going to see Finn, or like Finn approaches her.
She leaves the bathroom and Finn is out there waiting.
Yeah.
I thought she was going
Yeah.
into the bathroom and like
Yeah, no, that was-
further
that was
out of
another-
the way or something.
That was a confusing blocking there, where she
Yeah.
was coming from and going to, and he was
Yeah.
out. Like, where are they? And then there's a view of the dance floor below.
Mhm.
Everyone loves to lurk in this episode. And Finn likes to lurk around bathrooms. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a creep. He's doing it in a creepy way. I think he just like he followed
Yeah.
her there. That's really creepy. But anyway. But
Not
like
creepy, he just
he's like,
followed her.
oh, I thought only single girls would do that. And I was like, excuse me, sir, it's actually bachelorettes and any unmarried woman.
Yeah,
not just
it's
single
unmarried,
girls.
It's not single.
It wouldn't make sense because the bouquet doesn't guarantee you a boyfriend or girlfriend. It's just like you're gonna get married next.
So apparently, the writers of Glee have also never been to a wedding.
Yep. I think so.
Possible.
And so Finn is like plucking a flower and he's like doing the he loves me, he loves me not, or she loves me not. And he's like, you know, you may be with Brody, you may be shacked up with Brody, but like we're destined to be together. Like
You
remember who
will
you're with.
always be my girlfriend, is what he says.
Yeah.
So
Gross.
That's
like
the end game. That's the end game. Something like
Endgame,
that.
Yeah.
which I thought Riverdale was the first show to awkwardly be like, we're Endgame, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, Glee did it first.
No, Glee walked so Riverdale could sprint.
Uh,
That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah. But also when he was like plucking the flower, I really wish they just never showed us the flower, because every single shot they would go back to, the flower was different.
yes.
And I was
Yeah.
driving me insane. 'Cause
Continuity, yeah.
I was counting and I was like,
Me too.
oh, this shot,
Cool.
he's not gonna make it. The next shot, oh, he's gonna make it
Yeah.
to She Loves Me.
Well, how
So
can they
annoying.
how can they not think that that's exactly what we'd be paying attention to?
Right.
And of course she plucked the last one, which said she says I love, she loves it.
Mhm.
Well, I feel like obviously these were all different cuts or takes, right?
Yeah.
And not only was the flower different, but I'm pretty sure he like said, she loves me. She loves me. She loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me
Oh,
not.
interesting. See, I wasn't even paying attention to what he was
Yeah,
saying.
I was so focused on the flower.
Yes. Once I saw it, I was like, it shouldn't have been in the shot.
Yeah.
Like,
But
what are you
that's like
doing?
someone's whole job is continuity, taking Polaroids, writing down. Yeah,
But then
I
those
think
like
they need a
trolls on
new
IMDb
intern.
wouldn't have a job.
that's true. That's funny.
So I have very mixed feelings about this scene, because in its essence, I hate it, because he's like, no matter what you do, you will always be my girlfriend, and that is like terrifying to hear. Like that's awful. But I think he does it really well. Like that he acts it really well. That I was like, this is kind of sexy.
Yeah.
Question mark.
I think
Then it's not. Sorry. If you put the
Yeah.
question mark again.
I think the actor Corey Monteith is really good at playing, because I think he did something similar with Quinn really early on, or maybe it was Rachel. But I remember we've talked a few times about how like some things that could be creepy if like, say if Puck had said it, we would have been like, ooh. But because Finn's actor acts it in such a way that it's like endearing, we're not like super creeped out by it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean he's in love with her, so that's where it's coming from. It's not,
Yeah.
I was actually really creeped out.
Yeah.
Punctuated by the creepy smile at the end of that scene given by Corey Monteith.
I think it's because she plucked the flower, which meant she loves me, and she plucked it. So that's
Mhm.
what I think. But yeah.
I think it was written
Borderline
to be the way it was written was so creepy, and he acted it as best he could.
Yeah.
they
I think
meant
there
it
was
to
an
be
endearing.
romantic.
They meant it to be romantic, but it was creepy.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
acted it as romantically as he could.
Yeah. And I think there was something endearing about it, because I think they've gone through so much with him, basically abandoning her, that like there is something sort of endearing about the relationship, but it also just kind of feels like when they were like singing their duet and stuff, I'm like, I don't know if I believe this anymore. Rachel's
I just
very into
want
Brody.
I want him to get over her. That's
Yeah.
what I want.
I don't see what he's
I don't think it's
I'm not a fan. I'm with my daughter.
Boo, Rachel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they sang We've Got Tonight. I'm genetically opposed to most Bob Seger music.
Oh.
Genetically opposed? How did that
Because-
happen?
So Bob Seger is from Michigan, and that's where my dad is from. But my dad hates Bob Seger. And so he ended up with my mom because she's from the East Coast and she liked Bruce Springsteen, not Bob Seger. So if
Got
my
it.
mom had liked Bob Seger, I wouldn't exist. So
Okay,
it's just
fair
like
enough.
in my DNA.
I got
to
it.
dislike Bob Seger.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
My brain went through so many somersaults when you were saying Bob Seger over and over again. At first, I thought you said Bob's Secret.
Bob Secret.
Is your father's name Bob?
No. Oh my god.
Bob's secret is that he hates Bob Seger.
So yeah, I found this song really boring. I didn't really feel that electric chemistry that they wanted me to feel.
I thought
You
Aletta
mean with
sung.
every single character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That song applied to every single character.
Yeah, and then they sleep together.
Everybody sleeps.
Everybody sleeps together, but Finn
And
and Rachel
I'm still
sleep
not
together.
convinced that they're not all having sex in that exact same hotel room.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
I'll put the
okay,
blue light in there.
we'll give us half an hour. We'll switch out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'd like to be the last couple to go in there. Sorry.
Uh, so
Maybe that's why Marley and Jake didn't.
Yeah. Marley's like, I sat in something. I can't.
It
do
smells
it."
in here. Sorry.
So Rachel slips out before Finn wakes up, and she like kisses him on the cheek. And then she goes home to Brody, who has decorated their whole apartment for Valentine's Day, because they have this whole thing that they had this open and mature conversation that they're not exclusive.
Okay, is this something that we knew before?
No.
Did
No.
they ever
No.
say this?
No,
Okay,
nothing.
because I was
It's
like,
just that they mentioned at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
when?
When she's talking to at the Bean.
Yeah.
lounge.
The coffee shop.
Oh, I think I completely.
She just
missed that.
mentioned that we have an open understanding. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very vague, which makes me think like Rachel doesn't fully understand what it means. So then
Well-
it's not very well structured.
Honestly, I'm gonna be real honest. If someone says, "Yeah, we have an open, understanding relationship," and you're planning on having sex with someone, I'm just gonna assume you're lying.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I thought she was lying, and I was very confused by the whole Brody Rachel thing.
Well,
That's
whoever-
interesting. So then by the time she got to New York, you're like, oh God, she cheated on him. And then it's just
Yeah,
like, oh,
exactly.
she didn't.
Right.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yep.
Right.
But he is like, oh, did you see Finn? Like, this open thing only works if we're honest. And she's like, oh, she basically tries to kind of, she skirts around it. And is
Yeah,
like,
she
oh,
doesn't
no, I
lie.
didn't really. Yeah, so she lies.
But then he says, "Thank you for telling the truth." But
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's like he kind of like reads into it like, oh, okay, like something happened. Cause he also, I hate the way he opens his conversation is you're kissing different. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Well, I read into that he just doesn't trust her and he's finding a reason.
Oh,
You
interesting.
know, he's insecure about the fact that Finn is back there and that she spent time with him.
Right.
And so he's just looking for a reason to,
I really hope that's it
That's
because if there's like a thing where like you kiss differently with other people, I don't care for that. Mm-mm.
And then we get a shot because he's like, oh, what did you do? And he's like, oh, I just watched weightlifting videos. And we get a shot of him leaving a hotel room counting money.
Okay, but also like the weightlifting videos would have been like,
Better lie.
is that really what you do? I don't know about that, son.
Yeah, he could have had a better lie,
Yeah.
Or he could have told the truth.
Or you could have told the
but
truth.
he's not going to do that. We're not going to get drama out of the truth. I was in a
Exactly.
hotel room. I was prostituting myself, and I made that.
But when that happened, when like they had like the flash to like him coming out of the hotel room, I was like, oh my God, Allyssa was right from the get-go. Brody's shady. I don't care how
Oh,
sexy
yeah.
he is.
He's
Ah,
shady. I'm with Alyssa.
And he was
Yeah.
shady. I don't
Yeah.
remember that.
I knew you wouldn't. I knew
Go back
it.
to the recording.
Literally, like the first time we met him, and like him and Rachel were kind of becoming like a thing, or at least friends. You're like, I don't trust him.
Yeah,
I was
I
like-
remember you saying that.
I
yeah.
was like, I don't know. Like, I think he's okay right now. And then slowly I was like, oh, I think Alyssa's right. You were on
He's-
the nose.
Yeah, and he slept with Cassandra, is it?
yeah.
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 That
Ugh,
hard
that
for
was a whole bunch of bullshit.
Well done, my past self.
I don't remember it, but I'll take credit for it.
I don't remember half my life.
So then Finn comes up to Will and is like, you need to stop moping. You taught me that. Glee Club taught me that. You need to find Emma. You need to get back into things. And then the Glee Club sings Anything Could Happen. Just because, and they dance around. And
That's
Rachel. Ellie Goulding, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a good song for a show choir because most of it is just. Ooh, 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 ooh. And, I mean, it's a bop, but
No,
like it's not for show choir.
And Rachel is tracking her period, and it's late, and she takes a pregnancy test.
Oh, is that what she was looking
Yeah.
at her calendar thing
Wow.
for?
Yeah.
Oh, timing.
I
2
Are
minutes.
you sure?
Yeah, she takes a pregnancy test.
I know
Yeah,
she
she's
takes
fine.
a pregnancy
I had to go back
test.
and look at it again because yeah. I
That's
think
so funny because I also didn't think that. I literally thought it was Brody having written down like all of his tricks and his clients. That is
Oh, this seems
'Cause
really
she gets, like-
old-fashioned.
because she gets like angry.
Yeah.
Okay, so how
That's-
much time passed there? Like,
That's what I want to know because I was like, according to Planned Parenthood, it takes
Yeah, right.
like at least up to 6 days for like a pregnancy to actually start. So yeah, like it would have had to have been at least like 4 days. So like say like they got married on Saturday, she comes back Sunday. So like they're at school Monday.
Unless
like,
the baby is Brody's.
yeah, right.
Oh, that's true.
That can be the
Yeah.
drama. Is the baby?
See, I didn't
Brody
even
or
think about that. I
Finn's?
immediately just went to Finn.
There's your pinch. We want to know. Not that they don't deal with it in the next episode, but
Spoilers.
I
was-
haven't watched it yet.
It's okay.
what?
Alyssa's gonna forget. It's fine.
At least half of it. Sorry.
She's
Just
like,
have that
I
sentence.
remember Scott said something about this episode.
Oh,
Oh well.
the movie? Whoa.
Yeah. So that's so funny that the two women thought that it was about Brody's like clientele or something,
Oh God.
and not like her checking her period.
I thought it was so weird. I was like, why does he write everything down in a notebook?
I did too. I was like, that's a bit weird. Okay. But I was also like, that's very Rachel for her to seek that out from him. Cause like I also kind of don't blame him for not telling her because knowing Rachel, she would have flipped out and kicked him out of the apartment. So
That's true.
yeah.
He's not on the lease.
Yeah, you can't get there. We got to get there eventually.
He's not on the lease.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
He's
she just
not,
has
he's
to
not,
move
it's,
in randomly. Yeah.
Yeah. Him or
Uh,
Santana.
And Santana, yeah. That's
Yeah.
getting kind of tight in that space.
Oh, it's enormous though.
Yeah.
Like
We
you've
didn't
seen the
even feel like we
pictures.
didn't
Yeah.
even
It's a
see
giant
Santana
loft.
Yeah.
At all.
What's
in the
that?
New York apartment. Like she
In
moved
the
to New
New York,
York and now
yeah.
she's back in Ohio.
And
the next
She's
she
like-
episode.
doesn't interact with Rachel or with
Kurt.
Kurt at all.
Yeah,
Has,
did
like,
they
a
come in on the
roommate.
same plane? Like, what's going on there? That is very weird. Yeah.
She came with twin.
She. So so that's like the main storyline. Then we have a bunch of smaller ones. Let's talk
Also,
about Santana real quick. 'Cause we
I
were
just want to
talking
quickly
about Santana.
say, I was really surprised that Terry didn't randomly show up, Will's ex-wife, to just be like, "Ha, now you're mine," or something crazy like that. I was expecting it, to be
Oh,
honest.
that would have been good. Just have her in the back, like going, yeah.
Just like, yeah. Her just like she just like lifts up like a mask or
Yeah.
something, and she's like,
Yeah. Comeuppance.
yeah.
So Santana and Quinn sit next to each other, and Santana's salty about Brittany and Sam, and she's or sour grapes.
Sour grapes.
Sour
about
grapes
it.
about it. Yeah.
And she's talking with Quinn. She's like, "I'm stuck here with you," and Quinn's like, "Do you want me to slap you again?" But you're right. I did let men define me, but I'm sick of men. All men are pigs except for Mr. Shoe and Al Roker.
That's like a weird combination,
Yeah,
but
right.
I'm like, I guess I'm glad she didn't pick Matt Lauer. That would not have aged well.
Oh God, yeah, right. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, and Santana's like, Al Roker's disgusting, and I'm like, Mr. Shoe is disgusting.
Yeah. Like, who's the real disgusting one
Yeah.
here?
And she quotes Gloria Steinem, a woman without a man is like a fish without a bicycle.
Yes, great.
Yeah.
film.
And but like she's like kind of prompted to say like, oh, men are pigs, because some like random guy down the pew from her like winks at her. I was like, ew.
Yeah. But they're just always oversimplifying everything in this TV show.
Yeah.
Like, and even from Emma's OCD to like someone suddenly becoming bisexual or gay or having a gay experience just because of a rebound, you know, just everything is always oversimplified.
For sure.
Yep, that sums up Glee.
Yeah.
They're like, how can we turn this topic into a hammer to hit the audience with?
Seriously.
So then at the wedding, they both have fake IDs.
Okay, I have something to say about this.
Emily Stark and Rosario Cruz.
Yeah, but they're from Alaska and Hawaii.
Why?
But the kicker is Ohio, at least used to be, I don't know if it is anymore, used to be one of the easiest IDs to fake.
Pennsylvania was. Not that I would have known, but Pennsylvania.
Right, like not that I would have known. Like I was always legit, but like I knew this because I had friends when I was in undergrad who went to like Virginia Beach or something, and they always got carded at every door they went to and they like seriously looked at the ID and checked for like that weird seal.
Yeah.
Because Ohio is like one of the easiest to fake. I don't know if it is now, but it used to be. I had to like triple check that too.
Statute of Limitations probably lets me share this, but when I was in college, undergrad, there was a guy on our floor who would sell fake IDs, and you went in and it was the wall was a giant ID, and you stood in front of it, and they changed the lettering for your name or whatever, and they took a picture of you, and then they just laminated the whole thing, and it was awesome. It was well done. Yeah.
That is
but on the wall was a gigantic ID, a Pennsylvania ID.
That is
It
hilarious.
was so funny, and it worked. Well, actually, I got busted one time. But...
Character development. Oh my goodness. That is like the last thing I would have thought of to like be able to fake an ID.
It was kind of. I mean, you can't do it now. IDs are way too.
Yeah.
Complicated. Yeah.
But I think like
if you were to fake an ID, would you like say your name to the bartender and explain who you are?
Yeah,
well,
right.
I think they're such newbies at having a fake ID that they're so proud of themselves. That's what I think they're.
Yeah, that bartender's like, I don't care. I don't get paid enough.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, she said, I'm probably related to Penelope Cruz.
Yeah.
So they're dancing, Santana and Quinn, talking about like how like a wedding on Valentine's Day is like asking for a curse. And they dance, and then they hook up at the end of the wedding, and
twice.
Quinn is like
at least twice.
She's like, I understand why college girls experiment now. And she's like, I don't know if I'm into this, but maybe it was a fun one-time thing. And Santana's like, maybe it could be a two-time thing.
Yeah, I think like I don't know where this goes. I honestly don't even remember, but like I feel like this is sort of simplifying it, that like Santana's like so excited that Quinn is interested in experimenting, when like if she says she's not thinking that this is going to be a multiple time thing, like this is just like a one time thing, like I don't know, I feel like Santana has a lot more like self-respect to not be like super indulgent in that. Like she would probably want something that's a bit more real, or maybe she's just.
But you know, what's that?
She has way more to lose.
Yeah.
In this situation.
Exactly.
I feel like you can see the mechanics of like, then, okay, we're going to have the Bob Seger tune. Everyone's going to go into a hotel room together. We need them to like, they have to be accounted for. So we can have them go together. And so they back up to get there, you know?
Yeah. So I'm interested to see where this goes, if they even decide to have it go anywhere.
Yeah. Plus, she's at Yale, and Santana was in Kentucky, but is now in New York. So how are they going to make that work?
Well, has Quinn used her bus pass or train ticket to New York? Yeah.
Well, she has, because
one
she wanted
trip.
to go interfere or do the thing.
Is that what she used that for? Oh, that's a shame.
Oh,
she didn't use it for anything fun.
Yeah.
She got slapped.
I feel like
that's right.
They already did make it a two-time thing, though.
Yeah, they did that. That was off screen. Yeah.
That was that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So-
So now it'd have to be a 3-time thing.
Yeah.
And then this goes nowhere, but at one point during the dance sequence, Sam like basically like is on top of Mike.
Yeah.
Like, which
I
I
missed
enjoyed
that.
that little detail. It was like it was cute.
That was a really long sequence. Did anyone feel like that went too long?
The dancing there.
Yeah. Yeah, I lost
Yeah.
interest because I didn't remember that. I think I must have just been like
There was so much going on. there.
glazed over.
I was
Yeah,
like,
'cause it
okay,
was
we've
cool.
seen. I usually like you go through each person like once, and then that's the end.
Yeah.
But they did each person like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Well, they were trying to
no.
show development, with like Artie and that
And Betty.
woman,
Yeah.
or Emma's niece.
Yeah.
They had like 3 of them. Yeah,
Yeah, let's talk about Artie and Betty.
yeah, Betty.
So
So this was awful. Am I
Yes.
jumping in?
yeah, just jump
But
on
this
it.
is why I hate Emma. Like, I can't stand the fact that she did so many. She's a school therapist or counselor,
Yeah.
and there's nothing about what she did there to set them up that was appropriate. You're in a wheelchair. He's in a wheelchair, so you guys must know each other. You guys will get along.
Yeah.
Why? And she didn't tell either one. So
Yeah.
she almost orchestrated an uncomfortable meeting between the two of them.
And also the only factor that she told Artie about was that she had big tits.
Yeah,
That's it. And I was like,
that's not good.
yeah, It's
Yeah.
so inappropriate. Like, yeah, I'm not an Emma fan.
This girl,
No.
what's her name in real life?
Allie.
So okay, so
Yeah.
I have a question. Okay, I don't know if I'm derailing things here. Can I ask a question?
sure.
So in my training for this, I went to Gleeboot and picked one episode to listen to, and it was Cullen's parents. I listened to like 20 minutes, and in that 20 minutes, there was a mention of a woman in a wheelchair who tried out for Glee and didn't
Yes.
get it.
This
Was
is
that-
her.
This
Her?
is her. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
she
what's
previously tried to get on Glee and didn't get on.
what's interesting is sort of toward the end of her being on the Glee project, because the guy who plays Ryder, he's the one who ended up winning. But
Oh.
Allie, what's interesting is like sort of toward the end of Glee project, they were like, come up with a character. And she came up with a mean girl because it was kind of rare to have that sort of mean girl character, super confident and being in a wheelchair, kind of seeing how that would come together. So Ryan Murphy must have really liked that idea to put her in this, which I
Yeah.
thought was great for her, that like
Yeah.
she got to, choose that character and go through with it.
Right.
And she, unlike Kevin McHale, who plays Artie, is actually
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what like, because she also has a line once they first meet, because Artie's like, hey, you must be Betty. And she kind of goes off on this thing where she's like, I can't believe you're being so handy centric.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm glad that she gets to say that, but like, I feel like the show is really taking advantage of her actually being in a wheelchair in real life to be able to be like, oh yeah, no, like we're not handy centric, like we're gonna call Artie out for that.
Right. And the truth is that her aunt's the one who orchestrated this whole thing.
Yeah.
This weird encounter of like, oh, you're in a wheelchair, she's, so therefore it must work,
Yeah. And I
And
think
not
like
mention-
and the show itself is also orchestrating that too when you think about it. So they're also still like, they're creating a moment for someone who's actually in a wheelchair to be like, you're being handy centric.
Yeah.
Kind of at the show and also at a character. It's just really strange with all the layers, but like,
It's kind of that irresponsible messaging, that just they didn't dig deep, but they at least touched on it,
Yes.
Mhm.
So was there a weird joke when those two were in bed together?
Yes.
They said, did you feel anything? No. Did you? No. And it's like, ha ha ha, we're both handicapped from the waist down, so we can't feel anything. Was that's what I got. And I thought that was super strange.
But
Was
then
am I wrong about
later,
that?
she's like, that was the best I've ever had. And I was
Yeah,
like,
right.
I thought you
Right.
just
So
okay.
is this a joke? Like a joke at their own expense?
I don't know.
But here's what's crazy is that Artie has literally said in the past that like it works, like referencing his penis. So like I don't get it then.
Yeah. So that's why I think it was just like a funny joke. But again, like, it's not true, but it's just joking around about.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Because why would they, why would, forget it. That's good. Oh, forget it.
So that's that storyline. That was just uncomfortable. And
yeah, because she comes to the school. That's kind of it. Like they swap numbers and
right. Can
and
I also?
Anything could happen, and then they sing illegal things. Anything
could happen.
I also think it's weird. Just a side note of this whole show is how many people are allowed to walk into or wheel into a high school building without being like also somebody who is hitting on that Jake's older brother.
Yeah.
Comes to he's in the school hitting on a sophomore.
Yes.
Like that's not only illegal, but it's like wrong. And he's roaming the halls constantly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something that we talk about constantly is like, where are these, do these people check in at the front office? Where's their ID or name tag? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah. It's a huge deal to go into a school.
Yeah. But so going back to that, are we going to talk about like Jake and stuff?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay. Because that's where my one thought. So I basically stopped at this exact point where it is revealed that Puck and Kitty, who is like 15, 16 years old, are dating. Like romantically involved. They didn't just hook up, they're dating. And I was like, that's when I was like, Cullen, I don't think I can do this. And he's like, oh, you have till next week.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
Gross. Yeah, it's really gross. So yeah, Marley gets Jake a Valentine, and Jake is nervous about what he's gonna do. And he's like, my brother Puck gave me some advice, and Puck is like, buy her lingerie, make her do a fashion show. Girls love fashion.
No, but isn't he? First, he says the reason why you're gonna have money for lingerie is because has an eating disorder, and you can bring her out to eat and save money, so you can then use that money to buy lingerie. Like this is the guy who's dating a 15-year-old.
Yeah,
in a terrible hat and scarf combo.
Yes.
And then also like giving this
happening.
horrible advice to his little brother, who like in a lot of ways does actually want to do good by Marley. So like.
Well, so Ryder calls him out. He's like, okay, I know he's related to you, but the guy's kind of creepy.
Yeah. He's like, that's when he literally is like, yeah, you're listening to a guy, like a 90-year-old man who is dating a sophomore. And I literally just went, no, it's not real.
Someone should be calling the police, not just saying it's creepy.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. So then Ryder is like, what you're gonna do is you're gonna make it Valentine's Day week. You're gonna do all this stuff for her. And he's giving him all these ideas, and then they're in history class. Will is talking about the bald eagle or something. And he's all like acting weird, and Marley's like, why are you acting weird? And Ryder's like, no, I'm fine, I'm just in history class, nothing's weird. And then
but he's wearing bright orange pants.
Yeah.
And patent leather shoes.
And like his jacket is all the way up to his chin.
Yeah.
And then Jake comes in, and Will is happy to let him derail history class.
Because he doesn't know anything about history just as much as he knows anything about Spanish. Because he used to be the Spanish teacher.
Oh, really?
Or not.
Yeah, and there's a whole episode about how he couldn't speak Spanish.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't even realize it was him teaching.
Yeah.
I thought it was someone else.
And that's what I wrote. I was like, Will is the only teacher who would be fine with this happening.
Yeah.
Well, so my son at his high school, did you guys have this at your high school? Where he would go around, he was in the a cappella group, and they would go around on Valentine's Day and sing. Like,
I've heard of that happening.
Yeah, we had that at my high school, where you could like buy a singing gram or whatever the heck they're called.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it wouldn't be a whole song. I think it's probably just like, like a little 30-second thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
it's true. And Marley
number.
Marley jumps in and starts singing.
Yeah, it becomes a duet. Yeah, she's like already warmed up. She's got it.
So all the Glee guys come in, they're saying you're all you need to get by. Marley sings. I was so bored. This was so boring.
It was okay. So I have to say though, I didn't hate Jake's voice on the song, but when I wrote that note, I still wrote, I hate Jake's voice. So like subconsciously, my mind was like, no, you still hate it, but I didn't. And I thought Melissa Benoist's voice was really awesome on it.
Yeah.
Hated
Who
their
is that,
outfits.
Marley? Is that
Yes,
Marley?
Marley.
Yeah.
I think that's
Okay.
the intention. Their outfits are supposed to be.
Oh, he had
Yeah.
red shoes, red pants, red jacket. I was like, Jake, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And it was awful. But yeah, they did all of the verses, which I was like, that's a long song. God, what else? Oh, and then I was like, I would be a student in the back being like, there's a test tomorrow. Get out.
Yep.
But they're kind of like this, bopping their heads.
Yeah.
I
I
would have been the
mean,
person that
like,
was happy to like skip out on having to
Yeah.
study. I would have been like, oh great.
I
just
would
have to
have-
watch
I want to
these
know what's
people
on the
sit.
test.
Yeah.
I would
Mr.
have
Shu
ended
doesn't
up
know,
getting
so-
embarrassment and just like
Yeah.
hide my face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I would just be like, all right, I'm going to sleep. Bye.
Huh.
So Jake, with Ryder's help, does a series of gifts. There's like peonies waiting for her in the pew, which Ryder remembered were her favorite flower and told Jake, and Jake's all like, thank you. And then Ryder gets him a bracelet from the mall, and this is the line where he's like, it's cheap enough where she won't think you stole it. And Jake's like, I'm gonna ignore how subtly racist that is. And I'm like, are we gonna focus on how subtly racist this whole storyline is?
Yeah.
Because the whole thing where he's like, I'm gonna get laid tonight, and he's like, Marley's not ready. So the whole thing where the white man who loves her respects her chastity, but the
Yep.
black man who loves her does not.
Well, that, and also
That's
like,
some old school racism, right?
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I didn't even pick up on that.
in addition, like, it's like Jake is like so incapable of being able to come up with any romantic gesture that like Ryder has to do it all is crazy.
I've seen this before
Cyrano.
in
Yeah, Cyrano de Bergerac.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like a rom-com thing.
Oh, there's so many. Breaking Away
Yeah.
had it.
Mhm.
Oh my God, there's just so many different examples of that.
Yeah, it's
Where
not
somebody helps
new.
through and they end up falling in love with that person. Yeah.
It's not new, and they didn't do anything new with it. It's just
No.
like rehashing it. So it was,
Yeah.
and I was also like, is Jake paying for these things, or is it just Ryder? And like,
Yeah,
Jake's
no,
gonna be like, all right,
Ryder-
I'll hit you back. Like,
No, I think you're just
like what's happening? They're teenagers. Does this kid have a job? I don't know.
You're just wealthy.
Yeah.
They're TV wealthy, people on
Yeah,
TV
yeah,
just
right.
buy things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And never need to be at work. So then he's like, I'm still gonna get laid tonight, and Ryder's all like, she's recovering from her eating disorder. She's a sophomore. She's not ready. And then during the We've Got Tonight, Jake and Marley go into a hotel room, but then Marley is just like, I'm not ready. And Jake is respectful. He's like, okay, no, it's okay. And she's like, I feel bad you spent all this money in a hotel room. Then he makes a joke that he stole a key card.
Yeah.
And then she's like, really? And he's like, no, I bought it.
Yeah.
But then,
And then they
he's
make
and then they go downstairs to dance. And then she comes up to Ryder at school and is all like, Ryder, I know it was you who were whispering into Jake's ear like Cyrano, and Ryder's like, who? And she's like, I appreciate it. And then he kisses her. He took a page out of Finn's book, who took a page out of Will's book, and just kind of kisses women when they don't expect it.
Yep.
And then they both kind of walk away awkwardly.
That was the
And then-
scene that really bothered me with the camera work. And I'm wondering if they didn't have any good takes and they had to cut back and forth. Like if it was the editor or something. But
Yeah.
there were way too many cuts in this scene. Too many.
Oh, interesting.
I was watching it and I was like, I can't focus because they're cutting so quickly between the two of them.
Trying to
Oh,
create
yeah.
pacing or something.
Maybe.
It failed
Yeah.
miserably.
Oh, and
Yeah.
there was one little hint that she knew, because when Jake gave her the bracelet on the dance floor, she like immediately looked over at Ryder and waved to him.
Yeah.
so maybe,
Yeah.
maybe that was that little hint, but she knew the whole time that it was Ryder was behind it.
Yeah.
I
It just
didn't
makes me wonder,
I
like-
didn't even read it like that. I just read it as like being Ryder, like feeling bad for himself.
Yeah, maybe.
But now
I
that
just
you
kind of
say that,
wonder-
like, yeah.
Why would Marley even stick around with Jake if she knows that none of this is Jake's idea? Wouldn't, well, I guess she's really naive, so I would kind of read that as oh, you don't care enough to come up with your own ideas or something like that. I don't know.
Well, the answer to that is they wouldn't have a love triangle.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
That's
you don't
true.
always have to like a guy because of his great gift-giving skills.
Like
But
him.
it's the thought, and the thought isn't coming from him.
Yeah, it's a
That's
thought.
I
and
think
the
that's
effort. Yeah.
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 I think I would
That's
be
coming
mad
from-
that he didn't tell me that someone else, I know it's someone else and you're taking credit and this is not cool.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple layers where I'm just I don't know if I would be into this as Marley, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
She's
don't think
going
I
through
would
some
fall
stuff.
for Ryder just because he gave really
That
good gifts.
true.
But he also just
Yeah.
But-
randomly in the hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once again, this love triangle remains utterly banal.
Yeah,
I hated it.
not interested.
Lie. Yeah.
So let's get to Kurt and Blaine and yet another storyline where Glee feels the need to put Tina in her place.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is the Tina monologue, yeah.
Yeah. So Kurt and Blaine are hooking up in a car. And they're like, it doesn't mean Kurt's like, it doesn't mean we're together. And Blaine's like, yeah, it's just bros helping bros.
And then Kurt says, I love when you talk fratty to me. I died on the inside. Oh my God. Bros helping bros. Two
We have-
bros chilling in a hot tub.
There's absolutely no reference of time in this scene until they get out of the car. And then
Yeah.
I was appalled.
Yeah, because they're right at the wedding.
In
Yeah,
the middle
there's
of the
like
day.
people all around the car.
Yeah.
fog.
Yeah, and apparently Tina keeps coming back.
Yeah, we don't
which
see that, but we
was yeah, because Kurt's like, I swear to God, if that's Tina again, and I was gonna be like, oh my God, what is going on? Tina.
And then, so they agree. So Mercedes grabs them and they're like, yeah, everyone hooks up at weddings.
Which is not true.
Yeah.
That's
In
not
the
true.
movie version of weddings.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Movie
In the
versions,
movies it's
everyone's
real, but it's not real in reality.
And when people try to do it at weddings, it's super creepy.
Yeah.
Ah.
yeah. It's not cool.
And then Kurt and Blaine saying just can't get enough. While Tina glares at them. And I just want to give an Emmy to Jenna Uskowitz for this performance.
Yeah.
She
Because
nailed it.
Her glare. And you know what? I'm with Tina in this storyline. I'm Team Tina. I'm not Team Tina when she was Vapo rubbing.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was disturbing.
Oh my God. Like if you reverse
Yeah.
that and that was a guy doing that to a woman, it would be like outrage.
Yeah.
Why is it okay
Yeah.
for her to do it to him?
No.
That's
Yeah.
creepy.
It's not. But the show thinks it's less creepy because she's a woman.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
So, yeah.
So
But
then
they did get the vapor rape line that Kurt
Oh my
has.
God.
You vapor raped my boyfriend. Yeah. Get back here.
He's like, come back here, Tina Conchang.
yeah, because Tina is like, I don't like what you're doing. Blaine loves you, and we all deserve to be loved back, Kurt. And you're here, you're there, you're in New York, you're in
Yes.
Ohio, Kurt.
Yeah.
She just keeps saying his name, Kurt, and she's like, so what? He
I
cheated,
was
but we all are
here.
lonely, and I was here for him. Who's here
Mhm.
when it take him to Sadie Hawkins? Who's here when he's sick and runs vapor rub all over his little muscled chest?
Yeah, a little muscle check. And he's like, wait, what? She's like, well, it's not about me.
He's like, did you vapor rape my ex-boyfriend?
Yeah.
And she's like, I have to go.
Yeah.
But Tina has a point, and that's what drives me crazy about this show is whenever Tina has a point, they just make her utterly ridiculous and laughable. But Tina has a point in that Kurt is toying with Blaine in this
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Blaine is seeing them getting back, like hooking up, as a sign that they're getting back together, that they're destined for each other. And Kurt, even if maybe he feels something for Blaine, wants to say, we're just friends doing this. But it's so obvious that Blaine doesn't think they're just friends.
Yeah.
So Kurt is taking advantage of what is a younger guy, because now there is that age gap where Kurt is an adult and Blaine is still in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt's taking advantage of him, and Tina is right to point that out.
Yeah.
But
also
the
they
show
kind
just
of
points out the ridiculous things about Tina.
Yeah. So
they also kind of mentioned that like Kurt is also seeing someone in New York.
right.
Yeah.
So it's not going to stick. So this, I don't know if Alyssa's doing the part where Tina gets a chance to talk. Is that?
Yeah, we counted Tina's lines.
Okay. So because this is the weird thing is she finally gets like a really juicy monologue, a decent amount of dialogue, and then she has to apologize for it later.
Yeah.
It's not clear what she's exactly apologizing for, but for being a hag is what they say.
Which
But
I don't understand.
whole-
Can someone explain that to me? I don't understand what that means.
It's like a woman that hangs out with two gay men and tries to get involved. Is that?
It's just kind of like a woman who's kind of in love or just loves the
Yeah.
company of gay men.
Mm-hmm.
Usually a single woman.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't know there was a term for that. Now I know.
Yeah.
Well, so, yeah, I looked it up because then she goes, "Oh, the mystery's solved. Agatha Christie."
I know. I was like, I cannot wait till we get to that line. Iconic.
That was great.
So Blaine and Kurt hook up at the wedding, and Blaine is like, we're meant to be. We were together at Christmas. You called on Thanksgiving. Now we're together on Valentine's Day. And Kurt's just like, no, Blaine, we're just friends. It's just a hookup.
He has, to be fair, Kurt has said several times, this doesn't mean anything. I'm not here for anything more than this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he knows.
I feel like if Blaine is giving off these vibes, he probably shouldn't have ever hooked up with Blaine. But
Yeah.
he was very clear about his intentions.
But I'm with Cullen, who's with Tina, that Kurt knows how
Mhm.
vulnerable Blaine is. He's been calling him throughout, previous episodes, trying to get
Yeah.
in touch with him, even though Blaine brought it on because he cheated on him, with a rando.
Right. With a lighthouse, right?
With the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah. So then we get a scene of Tina apologizing for standing up for herself and calling Kurt out because Kurt is a saint, and how dare she
Mm-hmm.
challenge him. And she's Agatha Christie. She's gonna go to them with the movies to them. They're like, "Oh, Tina, you'll find someone. It's fine."
Yet again, Kurt is just roaming the high school halls, no explanation as to why
In a bright orange sweater,
in a
mind
nasty
you.
Murdered
sweater.
Elmo for
That
that
thing's
sweater.
ugly as hell.
Like you murdered
It
Elmo.
was the ugliest sweater I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I still hate the half sweater poncho thing he wore in the I Kissed a Girl episode where he sang Pink's Perfect. I still hate
Yes.
that half poncho.
I feel like Kurt's wardrobe is hit or miss, and a lot of times it's miss.
Well, Vogue.com doesn't seem
Yeah.
to think so.
Right.
So,
Also,
yeah.
what about his internship? What is he doing? We don't know.
Who
I don't
knows?
know. What happened to Sarah
Hanging
Jessica
out.
Parker?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's I Do. That's the episode.
We went through the whole
Yeah.
thing. That's it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Whoa!
It's just a bunch of people dancing, making out, hooking up, and Emma has a freak out.
Abandoning each other.
Yeah, and abandoning each other. Like,
That's the
That's
Bob
it.
Seger tune.
I actually think that's every single storyline kind
Yeah.
of. That's it.
Wow. I feel like for some reason watching the episode, it felt like way more than what we
I
talked
agree.
about.
There
Like,
was a random scene after the wedding where I didn't even know the purpose of it, where they're singing a song and balloons are coming down. And
Oh yeah.
When they sing that anything could happen. And
Yeah,
the
that's
balloons come down. Yeah.
that's them practicing for
oh, they
one
had
of their
so, again,
competitions.
comment from my wife is like, oh, so they just have balloons ready to fall during
Yep,
yep,
like,
Exactly. Coordinated outfits.
yeah,
It
Yeah.
no, it doesn't make sense.
just another day.
Yeah.
Yep.
in a show where they constantly talk about dwindling arts budgets.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
they're
know.
so strapped for cash, but they can have like 1,000 balloons.
So that brings us to
Ta-ta-ta-ta,
Tina
Tina
time.
time.
Okay. I attempted to count and I came up with the number below 10 lines.
I counted. It's 8.
I was
All
correct.
And one of them
One
was
of them, one of them was Hagatha Christie. So iconic.
Yeah. For the amount of things that Tina said this episode, I feel like 8 is a really low number. But like we said, one of them was a really long monologue. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like another part of how big of a role she had, it was just glaring at them for like 30 seconds. So
And while you said that you wanted to give her an Emmy, I don't actually think like it took a lot of acting, because the show was probably just like making her glare. That was real life. She probably didn't need to act that.
yeah, that was just like random B-roll, and they're like, "Ooh, this will be great."
She's thinking about when they made her sing Gangnam Style.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Oh, that's the moment. So if you ever get a chance to listen to that episode, but we talked
Oh, no,
about
I
how
saw-
Jenna
oh.
Ushkowitz
Yeah.
said that like that was kind of the moment that broke her in Glee, like being on the show. And I was like, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
That's
That's
horrible.
So let's talk MVPs and LVPs.
Okay.
So Scott, who is your least favorite character this episode?
It's Emma Pillsbury. I'm not a fan of her anyway, but like I mentioned, the reasons why with the setting up 2 people in wheelchairs, if that's like okay, but not telling them. She did run out on Will instead of facing the music. Yeah, so I just, but I know that we wouldn't have the episode if she didn't do all that. But
Yeah, that's
So,
valid.
least favorite.
Yeah, I wrote down Jake because he knows that Ryder still likes Marley, and yet he's still letting Ryder be so a part of this big fiasco to impress her. And then also he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna get laid. So like that seems to be like the real thing that was on his mind the whole time. So overall, I think like everyone else is like whatever, but I think that was just the one thing that stood out to me.
You go next. I'm still thinking.
I'm going with honorable mention to Artie, but I'm going with Kurt for taking advantage of Blaine and being that selfish, and then still having to put Tina in her place. So get like the show rewards Kurt's behavior and punishes Tina's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think I'm also gonna go with Jake, because he has no original ideas, and that makes me sad. And he doesn't even try. Like, I wouldn't be half as upset if you tried and the idea sucked, but you tried.
Yeah. He said he tried, and he only thing he can come up with is barley and gnarly for the rhyme.
For the poem, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was about it, but that doesn't, I don't think that does any justice.
I would have liked to see, I think it would have been funny to see Jake try and do something, and then it fails, but Marley's still like, oh, that was great. But then Jake's like, oh, I suck, and then Ryder steps in.
Yeah.
Or no, what he could have done is it could have sucked, and then he could have said, Ryder told me to do it.
Ooh, brutal. So, Scott, who's your favorite character, your MVP?
Sue. Yeah, I just love her. She's so much fun. We didn't even talk about the fact when she went to throw the flowers. There was such a great moment where she talked about St. Valentine's, and I didn't know this, but I looked it up after she said this, that he was beheaded. Like this on that day, 14th of February. He was beaten and beheaded. So it's like we're all celebrating the death of this person, and she just cuts right to it and says, whoever catches the flowers is going to be filled with this false idea of romance, and actually probably just run out on the person.
Is that why Valentine's Day's color is red?
Oh, that's
Because that's the color of martyrs.
Because blood
blood. Yeah.
Blood.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm gonna
Interesting.
investigate.
Oh boy.
I actually also went with
Yeah.
Sue for telling Emma like it is about Will and his crazy shenanigans. The fact that his best friend is a 19-year-old boy. So
I'd feel weird hanging out with a 19-year-old boy.
yeah, as a 27-year-old, I would feel weird about hanging out with a 19-year-old.
How old is
Who
Will?
wasn't in my family. He's got to be mid 30s,
35?
late 30s.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
Because
but
he was
also
married before and had, for a while.
And
Were you gonna say had kids?
He had a fake pregnancy scare.
he had a fake, yeah. But he also like Finn was his previous student. So it's
Yeah.
like it's
mean,
that,
how-
don't shit where you eat kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's so inappropriate for a teacher to hang out with previous students and drink.
Wow.
Listen, we were all adults.
Sorry.
But yeah, like I just feel like the only time I remember him having adult friends was season 1, Acafellas. He was hanging out with a bunch of weirdos, and one of them was a pedophile. So I guess maybe this is better.
Bar's pretty low.
Yeah. And that, I think that speaks to Will's character more than it does anyone else. So
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with Tina as my favorite character this episode because she does tell Kurt like how terrible he's being, and she also finally gets around to realizing that Blaine is never gonna fall in love with her and lets that dream go, which was a big step for her.
that's true.
Although she could fall back in the future.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed she doesn't.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Tina because no one else really stood out to me this episode. I guess Mercedes was fine.
She didn't do
She didn't do
anything.
anything.
Yeah, honorable mention for Mercedes, I guess, for looking fabulous and singing
Uh-huh.
amazingly.
She pulled Blaine and Kurt out of the car in the middle of the day before the wedding. I feel like that's a pretty. She gets an honorable mention from me.
Yeah. But Tina for that monologue and just for the way she delivered it with the constant, we all deserve to be loved back, Kurt. Yeah. So let's talk about the music. This had, I'm going to say it, some pretty boring songs.
Yeah, I don't like really any of them.
Girl, I Need to Get By, Getting Married Today, Just Can't Get Enough, We've Got Tonight, and Anything Could Happen. So, Scott, what was your least favorite song?
I'm gonna have to go with Depeche Mode. Yeah, I grew up. That was like a song that I heard a lot. But yeah, there's some. Yeah, just heard too much of that growing up, so I think I was bored by it.
That's valid.
And I didn't really dig the fact that those two were together under these circumstances, and that was the
true.
duo. Yeah,
that's true.
So.
I picked what was the one that Emma has her freak out? What's it called?
Getting Married Today.
Getting Married Today. Didn't like it. Thought it was weird. I didn't like her fast talking because also when you like watching her lip syncing, she can't quite keep up. That kind of threw me off. Also, didn't like the song. Wasn't a fan of it.
She looks super old in those shots.
They do her dirty sometimes. They really do.
Really old. Like they aged her like 10 years in that.
Yeah, the lighting
or they
did not help.
Age her 10 years.
Yeah, they just let it go.
Yeah.
They didn't age her younger.
Yeah.
So makeup did her dirty.
Yeah, maybe.
Damn.
Alyssa?
What was this one? What
Anything Could Happen? We've Got
No,
Tonight.
no, the other one above it.
We've Got Tonight.
What is that scene?
That's the Finn and Rachel and then all the couples going to the hotel rooms.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one.
You did.
Valid.
I did not like that one. I don't like the duet. I don't like the fact that they were still singing the Best Man song. Well, the Best Man doesn't really exist anymore because it's not really a wedding party anymore.
Why was that the Best Man song?
I
Because
don't
it's the best
know.
man. No, he had to pick something, and Rachel picked it so that she could sing most of it. That's remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that whole situation was weird. And then I also didn't like the pairing up of people and like really leaning into the everyone hooks up at a wedding because I think it's weird. So I'm just gonna go with that
Yeah.
song.
In the
also, it's
same
not
hotel
really a
room,
good
too.
song either. So.
Yeah, the song is
Okay.
very good. It's
I'm going with You're All I Need to Get By because in a musical, the music is supposed to move the story forward. And at least I didn't like We've Got Tonight, but at least it moves the story forward. The You're All I Need to Get By was a full-on stop.
yeah,
Like you could just check out and check back in, and then you won't miss anything.
that's what I did.
Yeah.
I saw the shoes and I went, nope, I'm gone.
So that was my least favorite. Scott, what was your favorite song?
All right, so I'm gonna go contrarian here.
Hot take.
Well, see, so my father grew up in Michigan, where Bob Seger was, and my parents met because of Bob Seger.
Oh,
So, yeah, I'll go with Bob Seger. At that point in the episode, everything had gone so bizarre that everybody hooking up was just funny, and the song was
Yeah.
just, to me, was just funny. Like I wasn't taking anything, realistically at that point. So I just thought it was kind of funny that they would sing that song that was about what they're doing. So. And
no
I
emotional
grew up-
gratification for you.
No, but it was fun. I laughed when I was listening to that song and all happening. So I thought it got something out of me.
I mean, sometimes that's what you got to go with. Sometimes it's like if Alyssa remembers the song, that's the one she's gonna pick.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's how bad
true.
the music gets sometimes. I'm going with the Depeche Mode. Just can't get enough. I like the song. I think it's like the only one I would probably listen to outside of the episode if I wasn't forced to listen to all the songs in the episode.
So are Hannah and I exactly opposite on our favorite?
No, not quite. Because
Oh.
I picked the Getting Married as my least
Oh,
favorite.
okay.
Yeah.
Bummer.
We're all going opposites today though, because my favorite is Getting Married.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's a weird song, but I think it fits the situation in like a strange way. And I enjoyed listening to it. And I also enjoyed the fact that the subtitles couldn't keep up with Emma. So I was having a good time just like laughing
Chaos.
at the subtitles. Yeah. Which is like not a good reason to pick a song, but hey, I'm doing it.
That's the kind of week it is.
Yeah. I'm going with Anything Could Happen because it's fine. It's a serviceable pop song and it's a serviceable cover of a serviceable pop song.
It's the only song that I knew the words of.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm going with. So yeah, that brings us to the end of our episode. So Scott, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was fun. It was fun. It was like old times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss you guys.
Oh, we miss you.
mhm.
Do you have any social medias you'd like to plug?
My kids have, or my family has it's stupid, but we have a Instagram of our cat and dog that always fight.
Not
Aw.
stupid. We love this.
Yeah.
I think it's Meet Moose and Milo
Me.
on Instagram.
Awesome.
Cool.
They just
Great.
started it.
I love
So
it.
I just take the video, and my daughter put one in like on a Monday night, and it just like zipped up in like seconds to like 85 hits, and she goes, "You feel that? You feel that? Doesn't that feel good?"
Feel the attention.
Yeah. Like that's serotonin. It's
Oh, love it. I'm gonna have to follow that Instagram.
no, that's funny. That'd be so funny if you did.
So you can follow Gleeboot at Gleeboot Pod on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And we're also on Tumblr, gleebootpod.tumblr.com.
You can follow my, I swear it's not totally defunct YouTube channel, your boy Ryan 99. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at your boy Ryan 99.
And you can follow me on Instagram at a.m.swearingen.
Hey.
YMCA over there.
Yeah. So the listeners don't ever know, but like Cullen and I always dance when Alyssa spells out her name. It's just the rhythm.
Yeah, my name is Swap.
The name is about.
It slaps. It really does.
Just so you know, Scott, you have clawed your way up to #1 professor on my list.
Whoa! Congratulations. I'm sure it's an honor.
It is an honor. I'll take it. So that was just like in our class, right? Like #1 there. Like our one class that we had.
Yes. I'm not going to ask you what I am student-wise.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't want to know.
You got okay. I'll just say that your class is one of my favorite of all time. It's just
We
so
knew that.
awesome. Yeah.
we're pretty great.
You didn't. You was pretty secure in that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
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 All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
Well,
Well,
so
thank
great
you,
seeing you
Scott,
guys.
for coming
Yeah.
on.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm honored to be a part of it.
Yay.
Yay.
All right.
And tune in next week, listeners, for the movie episode featuring a guest appearance from the podcast, I'll Make a Fan Out of You.
Woo.
So one of our first podcast crossovers from someone that wasn't initially our friend before they had a podcast.
Yes. Clarification. All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.